All right, so I'm going to take some time today to do a little probing around on the Liberator board. And it's been a while since I looked at this, so I've got to remember where I was. I was thinking that this chip here, this PROM was bad, but one of the chips was broken, and I soldered a new pin onto it, and I reinserted it in there, and now the outputs look good to me. So I'm not thinking this one is the problem at the moment. It might have been part of the problem before I fixed the pin, but right now it's looking fine. Now we're still having the weird thing with the planet going on with the lines. So I'm looking at the schematic here, and the output of those PROMs are here. The one that had the broken pin is this T7 guy. So these inputs come into a shift register. The output of the shift register comes around and goes into a gate here, and that gate is good. I've checked it. The output of that goes into this flip-flop, and both flip-flops on that chip are good. I've checked it. That signal comes down here now, and it gets fed into this latch. Okay, this is a set of D latches. None of the latches outputs here are doing anything. We have a clock signal. I need to check the clear, but these outputs are all floating. So let me check the clear real quick. D10, pin 1. So there's the clear signal. That's a valid signal. All right. So we've got a clear signal. We've got a clock. We've got good looking inputs, but these are all floating. So this chip is bad. Let me replace this 174 and let's see what we get. Okay. So this chip here was a 74S 174. So that means it needs to be fast. I didn't have a S handy, so I put a 74LS 174. Hopefully that's going to be good enough. This chip was rotten. I mean, you barely touched the legs and they broke on it. So I chopped it out and put a socket there and installed that. And now we've got a planet that looks reasonable. That looks pretty good. It's got these little flashing dots in it. I assume those are the bases on there. From which the missiles get launched, I guess. I'm not familiar with this game. I've never seen it before. Looks like there's some stuff happening to the planet. Maybe that chip being a LS is just not fast enough, and so I'm getting a little bit of interference or screw-ups in it. So let me see if I can dig up a 74S 174 and replace it and see if that doesn't fix it. But that chip definitely was the problem. The planet wasn't correct. That's looking a lot better. I'll be back. All right, so I installed a 74S 174, a full Schottky chip there. And the planet still looks like it's got little graphic errors. So something else is going on. But regardless, that chip was bad. Things are looking better. Now, you hear that constant tone. Those two switches are stuck. So let me focus on that next and see what that's about. Okay, so the fire button that was stuck low, or was stuck on, I should say, is connected to a resistor and another resistor for isolation, and then a capacitor, the C128. Also, the start button 2, player start button 2 is here. Same type of situation. It's got a pull-up resistor, isolating resistor, and a pull down, not a pull down, a coupling capacitor to the ground. Well, I took my ohm meter and I ohmed across these capacitors, and they're ohmic. One of them's registering 300 ohms and one of them's registering 100 ohms. Weird. I've never seen capacitors do that, and that's the third one so far that on this board that's bad. The other one was on the -5 volt rail, as you may recall. Let's see if I can find where that one was. She was by the Rams. And, oh, it's over here. So this one here. This one was bad. It shorted and it exploded. It got too hot. So I'm going to need to remove and probably replace these with some sort of capacitor. I'll also check the other ones, although the self-test is checking them for me. If they're ohmic like that, that's going to pull it low, and the self-test is going to beep at us. So let me replace those, and I'll be back. Righty. Well, I replaced these two capacitors, that one right there, and that one right there. And while I was at it, I went ahead and replaced the -5 coupler that I decoupler that I had removed a week or two, or whenever it was, a long time ago. But look, still getting fire is low. Well, the capacitor for fire 1 here was C128. It was bad and it's been replaced. However, fire 2 also would generate that signal. So if you follow fire 2 along, it's connected to C130. So I've checked it, C130, or this node is down, so that tells me C130 is also leaky. Let me replace it and I'll be back. Okay, that capacitor right there has been replaced now. And voila, no more shorts. Let's see if the buttons work. That's the fire button. That's player 1, player 2. Those are the only controls I have hooked up right now. I need to hook up trackball, coin buttons and stuff. Or I can just test them with a jumper, I guess. Now, this is looking great, except we got these lines kind of streaking through there. Something is not happy, but it's looking a hell of a lot better than it did. So I've still got some sort of logic problem, maybe. Not sure. If I push on these proms, does that make a difference? Doesn't seem to. Push on the board doesn't seem to matter. I suspect some sort of RAM problem, maybe. Let's see. If I put it into game mode, let's see what it looks like. Alright, so I've got it set on, I've taken off free play. Before I had it on free play and it would just loop, and I didn't like that. How am I going to put a credit on it now? I'm going to have to figure that out. Let's see what the schematic says. Well, coin buttons are pin 7 and 8, which is on the bottom of the connector. It's hard to get to. Auxiliary coin is K. So let me run a jumper to pin K on the edge connector. Oops, that fell. Come here. Alright, so we're going to go from ground to pin K. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's going to be like one of these. Did that give her credit? It's not working. Okay. Not giving credits. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's play 2 players. Alright, so far so good, although that guy there looks a little weird. Okay, now, see, I've got these problems with this garbage here. This may be related to the planet screwing up, and I think this is going to be a RAM issue. Something, either the RAM itself is bad, or the logic to it. I wonder how I'm going to isolate that. I'll have to think about it. But see these little dots that are showing up? That's indicative of bad RAM, usually, I would think. I'm not too familiar with this game. I've got some dots going on there, too. So, let's see. And this graphic doesn't look very clear. I don't know what it's supposed to look like, but I bet it doesn't look like that. That looks washed out. So, usually, yeah, it's usually on the bottom half of the screen when this stuff happens. And then when you get to the top, well, there it is on that side, too. I don't think I've ever seen garbage in this quadrant of the screen, though. Alright, so I've still got a graphics problem, but we're getting very close now. I still need to hook up a trackball, like I said, and test that. Well, anyway, that's it. My supper's coming, so I'm done for tonight. Thanks for watching.